Hi guys, welcome back to Fireside Faith. Um, Today I'm going to be talking more about the faith aspect and the importance of faith on sports. And I'm going to be using two sections of verses that I found that were most helpful to me in my journey as a person who's in sports, and some that are just kind of related to sports. So yeah, let's get into it. I am a swimmer on a summer swim team specifically. I know many swimmers who do year round, which means they do swim throughout the entire year. And for me, I only do it from like June to July. Beginning of June, end of May to about the end of July. And yeah, I've been doing it since I was about 4 or 5 to now 17 years old. So that's about 12 years. And the importance that faith has had on my swim career within the last 2 or 3 years has definitely changed a lot since, like if I look back 5 years, it's very different compared to where it is now. Yeah. So for me, swimming is more than just a sport. It's more than just a workout. It is a lot. I can't really put a word to it. Swimming has meant a huge amount to me over the last 12 years, and I've loved it every year. And I fully believe that the Lord has given me a gift in swimming, and most people call that natural talent. I would say it is from the Lord, especially. And especially with the skill and the ability to keep up with people who do year-round swimming without having to do all the extra stuff. And my whole view on swimming changed it was in the summer of 2023 when I went to church camp, and it was at a beach, Myrtle Beach. And one day I was in the ocean, and, we had our free time. And I saw one of our other youth students in the ocean. She was probably like 20, 30 yards off. And I saw that she was all by herself, and there was a rip current where it was going that way. The ocean was going that way. And rip currents pull you along with them, and it's hard to get out of them. And it's a tip for anyone who's ever in the ocean with a rip current: don't swim the way that it's. So if it's going this way, don't swim that way. Swim like sideways and towards the beach. So go the way it's going, and then go that way. It'll save your life. So yeah, there was a girl here. I'm probably over here. I see her kind of struggling and kind of going that way. So I swim over to her, and I ask her, I'm like, yeah, you good? I see you kind of struggling, and we were kind of far out. And I have no knowledge of if this girl can swim or not, if she can even really be out here that long. And truly, she couldn't really. So, me going over there and just noticing her out of the corner of my eye, whether she was a student in our youth group or if it was just some random person, I'm very glad that the Lord had directed me to her, because she could have just been swept out. And, so, the Lord kind of directed my path to go over this girl and to speak to her and to, So eventually I asked her, I was like, do you need help? And she said, I'm fine. I was like, you don't look fine. So I told her to, grab onto my arm, because she was doing dolphin kicks to keep herself afloat. And it wasn't really working very good at that time. So I asked her to just, grab onto my arm. And this is what I was saying. Don't swim against it. If you don't swim this way, if it's going that way. And if it's going this way, don't go that way. I swam this way and it was going that way, but also towards the beach, kind of. Because our group was over here, but then it was going this way. So I was trying to get back to the group, but then it's just... So eventually, I'm pulling her. Thankfully, I have a bit of endurance with swimming. So I was able to keep going longer than, the normal person, probably. So she's kind of grabbing my arm, and we're going that way. And eventually one of the beach lifeguards or whatever sees me kind of pulling her in, and he runs out there, and he starts to do his job, and he kind of gets her back onto the beach, and I just walk onto the beach like Aquaman. I'm walking up there, I'm just like, yep, I just did that. Okay, what just happened? That was a crazy experience, and that experience changed the way I look at swimming and sports, and the fact that sports and the talent you have in sports are not, obviously, yes, you have to work. You have to try, and you have to work hard to get better in anything, and especially in sports. That talent alone, though, and that drive to play that sport, to have, the reason you have fun in it is because of the Lord. The Lord has placed certain people into that sport, onto that team or whatever. And, he's going to use you in that team, in that environment, to showcase himself through you. And you have to be willing to be used. And, what was that, 10 years of swimming I had used for myself, for personal gain. Look at this. These are all first, second, third place ribbons. And that's not as a flex. That was me. I was using the talent that the Lord gave me just to do well in swimming. And now, that's not all I do. Now that the Lord has kind of revealed that to me and showed me that he didn't just give me this talent to swim and to play sports at a high level, he gave it to me to do that, plus to teach others now, because that's what I do on my swim team. I'm a captain on my swim team, so we coach the younger kids and the kids who aren't as good, the fundamentals, the basics, all that stuff, so that they don't drown, so that they can improve, so that they themselves can, build up their confidence in the pool. So, yeah, that's how the Lord has used me in swimming. And I will say a recent story this past Saturday. What day is it? 25th or something? June 6th? No, not June 6th. June 25th, 2025. Today. So Saturday was like 4 days ago. It's Wednesday. So what was that? The 20th? 21st? I don't know. Whatever that day was. Last Saturday at a swim meet. I wasn't having the greatest start to a meet, and I was very irritated. The pool that we were swimming at was, like, as a swimmer, you don't want a slippery pool. You don't want a slippery start, especially if you're swimming something like backstroke. Your feet can slip off the wall, then it messes up your whole thing. So you want a more grippy pool, and this pool was very slippery. So off my relay start, I slipped, even using legs, and we don't have blocks in the summer swim. So you have to use either someone's legs or you use the little the thing, the little stone. I don't know what they call that, the headstone, something like that. Yeah, I slipped off of that. I didn't have a great relay time from freestyle relay either, and I was just kind of all around annoyed because of all that. And then it came to my first event, like first individual event of the day, and I swam. Individual medley, the 100. Oh my gosh, that's my dogs. The 100 individual medley meters. I think my mom might be home. So yeah, going into that race, I'm talking to the other guys I'm swimming against. Just kind of, getting myself ready. We do our little, our slaps to get our muscles warmed up and ready to swim. The most annoying race in summer swim. So, I'm getting ready, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm going to pray. So I do that. And, the meet before this, I also swam the 100 meter IM. And I had gotten a time that I had swam last year, but at the end of the year. So really what you want to swim is that time or around that time that you swam last year, because it's kind of like the middle of the season now. So you kind of want to start improving now. So last meet, I swam about the same time as I did last year. And then this meet, hold on, I'm gatekeeping now. Last meet, I prayed before my IM. And during the IM as well. I was like, it was during the breaststroke, the third lap. I was like, Lord, please help me. I'm tired. I'm struggling. I just want to finish this race and be done. I want to get out. I'm tired. I am exhausted. Please help me just push through the rest of this breaststroke and then on to this freestyle so I can just get a good time and be done. I finish the last lap of freestyle. And then I check the time and I'm like, what? I just swam a similar time that I did last year? That's crazy. And then this week, I was like, okay, I'm going to pray before this race. And, not that I would necessarily do better, but I would have a fast time. And also that I'll be able to honor God through it. And, so I did that. I did it before the race. I took a moment to just kind of back up right before the race and just silence my mind and just to focus on God and pray. And then, I go up, we start the race, swimming everything. And then I get to that last breaststroke Again, it's the third lap of 4. It's the exact same point as I did the last meet before this. I start praying. I start praying the exact same thing. God, please help me. God, we got this. Let's go. Let's go. Push through. We're almost there. And then I get onto the freestyle lap, and I see that, like, because I was ranked 3, I think. I kind of start, like, I'm breathing, and I see around me, and I'm like, I'm first right now. What is happening? This should not be happening. Why am I first? Both guys had way better times than me, and I'm just flabbergasted halfway through the freestyle lap. And, I was just breathe. Take more freestyle strokes, try not to breathe in. Keep going. And then I finish, and I'm like, okay, I just beat 2 guys who were much faster than me in this event. I don't know how that just happened. And I was like, yes, I did the Muhammad Ali. I did it. Let's go. I was so happy. And then, I was sharing with my friend's mom. I was like, literally the only way I got through that, and the only way I won, was through the grace of God and through prayer. Because without him, without prayer, I would not have been able to do that. I would not have been able to get first. I would not have been able to even swim close to the time that I got. Also, I got a personal best that race. Let's go, God. So, yeah. And speaking of that, I'm going to read a couple of verses from, let's see, which one's first? Let's do this. This is 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24 through 27. And the guy who wrote 1 Corinthians was the Apostle Paul, and he wrote it to the church of Corinth. Some background knowledge. He says, Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one receives the prize? So run that you may obtain it. Every athlete exercises self-control in all things. They do it to receive a perishable wreath. But we an imperishable. So I do not run aimlessly. I do not box as one beating the air, but I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. So Paul here, so he's saying, run the race, you may obtain the prize, and it's not the perishable prize as these ribbons, and in that time the wreath, or like the Olympic stuff, but run the race that you may obtain the imperishable wreath. So I do not run aimlessly. I do not box as one beating the air, but I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. So making sure that you are yourself, you are basically preaching to yourself as well. That you are not putting yourself above what you're preaching to others, or that you may be saying to others. So there is a very spiritual side to this, as well as a more, how do you say that, like physical aspect to it, or worldly. Yeah. And then the other verse that I had was from 2 Corinthians, also from Paul. chapter 12, verses 9 and 10. Verse 9 says, "But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me." Verse 10, "For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong." So these verses show that in our weakness, God is strong, so that when we give our weaknesses over to Jesus, he can use that weakness, and we can also use his strength from our weakness. My power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong. So, be faithful in prayer. Spread the love of Jesus among your teams, the people you go against. Personal testimony of praying before my events, pray before games, all kinds of things. There is no harm in doing that. And even if you don't do better or you don't win, whatever it is, be content in it. It sucks to lose. It sucks to gain time and things, but you also must realize that there is a bigger reason behind that than just, then there's more to it than just what you see. So, peace out. Jesus loves you.